Good morning. Here is me and Bella again. We just kind of show up faithful sometimes, don't we? Praise the Lord. The sun is shining today. I just looked out and I looked up this verse on this phone. And this is one that I really like. I just love my verses in the Bible. It's Psalms 16:11, and I like Psalms, and sometimes I just read Proverbs and Psalms. There are so many good chapters there, but this is a good verse. You make known to me the path of life. Yes, he does. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand. All right, so I'm a little tongue-tied sometimes. Pleasures at your right hand. You make known to me the path. His word gives us the path, and he died for us. So I'm going to tell y'all about my mommy and daddy. They were a wonderful couple, young, not real educated. Well, I don't want that there. I want to show you my mom and daddy. Now that's me in the back, and the twins and another little cousin. Mom and Dad is holding the twins. See my black hair? It was real. Mom always had a head of hair. That was just beautiful. Mine disappeared. I wear wigs. But they don't look bad. I like them. Anyway, my daddy was a small man. His name was Tom. My mother's name was Martha May, but everybody called her May. Now, Mom was an unassuming person. She was not outgoing like me. She was very shy and very backward. Bella done abandoned me. Daddy was outgoing, and I took after him. And every time the truck would leave, I would throw a fit to go with him. And I rode with him a lot, and we were close. So shortly after this picture I showed you, he passed away at 48. I was pregnant with Kim, 6 months, when he died. And I tell you, I was devastated. I missed my daddy so bad. And that was a sorrow. You just have to get over things. You just have to keep on keeping on. That's all you can do. Now, I have some more pictures here if I can get a hold of them. Lord help me. So I'm not the best at this kind of stuff. But I'm trying. Forget it. But Mom was unassuming and very You know, she would not even go grocery shopping. And Grandma Edens and her mom and dad, they never had a car. So when she met Daddy, he had a car. Grandpa says, that's the kind of man I like. Shall we go to the grocery store? But, you know, in that day and age, the women gave the men the grocery list. They didn't go to the grocery. They hardly went out of the house unless it was the carrots or tomatoes or whatever, work in the garden. And Grandma, down in Mink Holler, had the most beautiful flower gardens. And they had grapevines. And we would go out in the fall and we would eat those grapes till we would just get the bellyache. They didn't care. There were so many grapes. You could eat all you wanted. But the flowers that she had was a flower garden. And she had it all upside one of the yard. She raised zinnias. And they were all different colors. Come here, Bella. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Get over here. Forget it. I can do this by myself. I'm a big girl. Anyhow, Grandpa, he worked the fields, and the boys and the girls did their share. They did not go out in the fields much. But the boys, he had all them boys. And now, my daddy had a bunch of brothers and 3 sisters. And there was 12 of them. Daddy was a little guy. Some of them were bigger. And you know, I have brothers. Some of them are nearly 6 foot tall, and the others are like 5'8". They're not as big and tall. Daddy was not big and tall. He was a little guy, really. But he was very respected. He was intelligent. And he made some bad decisions. You know, intelligent people can make bad decisions. When he decided to move to the farm and leave Virginia, where we was living wonderfully well, I thought. And he had such opportunity, but he was so afraid that he was going to have to go to service, and he had to take care of Mom and make sure she had a safe place. So that's why he moved us to Indiana. But now, on Daddy's side, he had an older brother named Oscar, who got his arm cut off about right here in I think a sawmill accident. I really don't know. And he was an alcoholic. Uncle Oscar was. And he was married twice. And he married his first wife. And then he divorced her and married another woman. And then he ended up with his original wife for the rest of his life, finally. And she was the mother to his child, which was J.C. Ayers, my cousin, who I just loved, but passed away at 89, 3 years ago. We were close. He was the one that wanted to take the gun, BB gun, shoot all them birds. If you've watched my other videos, he was over at Grandpa and Grandpa Ayers's, and he said, "I'm going to kill me some birds." Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, no, I said, and I was crying, carrying on. There wasn't a Chinaman's chance that he could kill any birds with a BB gun. They were safe. Okay, so Grandma Maddie, my Grandma Ayers, we lived across from them. They had a farm and we had a farm. Now, Grandpa, Daddy's dad, I'm telling you about our family. He was not a nice old man. My mother called him Old Man Dan, and that's what he was, Old Man Dan. And he was hard on his kids. He wasn't kind to people. He was not a nice person. Nobody would put up with Old Man Dan. But you know what? He had a stroke. True story. And he was passed out. He was unconscious for like 2 days. Well, my Grandma, Maddie Ayers, his wife, was from a real devoted Christian family. And she had a brother named Jake. And we called him Uncle Jake. He was a preacher. So Uncle Jake and his friends, brothers in Christ, came down and prayed for Grandpa. And if you watch my other videos, Grandpa laid there for 2 days. So they said they prayed all they could, and they said, "We've done all we can do. It's in the Lord's hands." And they got up and went home. And do you know, next morning, Grandpa woke up hungry. He was healed. Now, here's the miracle. He was not the same man. He was a kind-hearted Old Man Dan. That's the truth. You would never know he was the same man. My mom still called him Old Man Dan. But Mommy and Daddy got married young. Daddy was about 21 and Mom was 16. Did I show you that picture? I wanted to show you that picture. I hope I can get that somewhere on one of these little old phones. I've got iPads everywhere. Let me see if I can get it here. Hang on. I'm going to look. We're going to see. Maybe we can on this one. She was so pretty. And he was so handsome. Let's see if I can find it. I'll tell you what. My mom was so backward. She never stepped in a grocery store all the time she was married to my daddy. Now, when she married my stepdad after Daddy passed away, she loved going to the Kroger. And she thought she was rich. My stepdad would give her a $20 bill. He'd say, "Spend it on anything you want." She was rich. She never had any money before that. I'm still looking. It's here somewhere. There are so many pictures on these phones. Don't that drive you a little crazy? I was looking through here and saw a bunch of mushrooms, a bunch of stuff. Man, there's a lot of stuff here. Well, I'm going to get to them. I'll tell you the funniest thing happened. Now, this is not on the same subject. Is that okay? But my brother Norman and I was talking yesterday, and he said, "I want to tell you something that was different." I said, "Well, what is it?" He said, "Well, my granddaughter called me, and she said, 'Grandpa, did you know I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and she said to me, she said, have you seen that new grandma on TikTok?' She said, 'Well, no.' She says, 'Oh, we all just love her and her friends.' She says, 'Let me show you who she is.' So she gets her phone out and she flips around, And who is it? Me. She said, we just love this grandma. My brother's granddaughter looked at that and she said, is that the grandma you're talking about? She said, yes, and everybody just likes her. We found her on TikTok. And TikTok is signing them up. That's the younger generation. So that girl looked at that granddaughter of Norman's looked at that, and she said, that's my grandpa's sister. She said, your grandpa's sister? She says, well, a lot of people on TikTok's looking at her, and we just love her. Can you believe that? So her and her girlfriend, Norman, my brother, they said, well, Ben, that's your sister, Grandpa. We're going to get as many hits for her as we can, subscribers. So those kids are working to get me subscribers. Now, that's another miracle of God. It's just going all over the world. I don't know how I can live up to being that God will help me. I've got verses that tell me that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. I was just reading that not too long ago. Now, what was I looking for here? Oh, yeah, I ought to show you all this. See this? That's almost a life-size horse. And James has that on his office on the balcony across the street. And everybody can see it's as tall as a man. And it's beautiful and it shines. It's a shiny substance. And there it is. He's a collector. He's got more junk than stuff. I never did go in for antiques, but he's got a doctor's buggy on his front porch. A doctor's buggy. I could show you a picture of that too, probably, but we got pictures of everything. Now, I'm trying to remember what I was looking for. Oh, yeah. I was looking for that picture of me and Norman and Phyllis and Daddy and Mama when we was living up in the Skyline Drive. See if I can find it. Hang on. Are y'all in a hurry? If you're in a hurry. Oh, here's that doctor's buggy. Look at that doctor's buggy. Can you see that? It's got 4 wheels and a seat, and it had a place for the doctor's bag, and they'd hook up a horse to that, and that is an antique, let me tell you. He tried to sell the thing, but I think he likes it better as a decoration on his front porch of the office. See that? I tell you what, I just have more fun aggravating with y'all. Come here, Belle. Oh, there's Big Tom. He's come in now. But I'm still looking for... Oh, darn. Chucks. Well, darn. Well. That's life. Anyhow, so Grandma Ayers, old man Dan's wife, was my very favorite grandma because she petted me, and when she died, I went into depression so bad, and I was 12 years old. Now, Uncle Carl, who I'm trying to get in touch with, I have tried calling his place now for 2 days in a row at where he's at, because his wife passed away, and she was the same age as me. And he said she just took the last breath and went to glory, because Uncle Jake, the one I was telling you about that prayed for Grandpa, at Grandma's funeral, because Grandma Ayers died at like 58 years old when I was 12. And she left Carl. Carl was 13, my uncle, because she was having kids too, same time as my mom. And Uncle Carl was 13, and we went to the funeral, and Uncle Jake preached the funeral. And would you believe, 6 of... He gave an altar call. He invited them to give their heart to Jesus and live for Jesus right on over Grandma's casket. He said, y'all just come right on up here to the altar and we'll pray you through. And you know what? Those boys, including Uncle Carl, who was just 13 at the time, accepted the Lord. Uncle Albert, Uncle Ernest, Uncle John, Well, I can't remember all the, there's so many of them. Anyhow, they accepted the Lord, and they never changed their mind. Now, Uncle Oscar wasn't there. He was the oldest. He, at the altar, I mean. He did not do that. He was alcoholic. But Uncle Oscar did go to church back after he got married the second time to that other wife. And he gave his heart to the Lord when he was in his 60s. But he meant it because he had been raised right. And do you know he drove the bus to pick up kids to bring to our church for several years when he was in his 60s, and gave up alcohol, got saved. Him and his wife both got baptized. In fact, they got baptized out at a pond at Grandpa Ayers' farm. There was a big pond there. And we had a baptizing there, and I was at it. I got baptized in a creek that was running, when I was 16. They had to push me under. I'm scared of water. How do you like these earrings? Aren't these cute? They got little pearls in them. I now have vintage earrings. All I can ever use. And they're fun. And like this hat. I know most of y'all have already hung up and quit watching and fast forward and all that. But that's okay. I still love you. I do that myself sometimes. So I'm going to close out this one. And Bella abandoned me. She's sitting over there on the table, the little stinker. Bella, look here. Well, heck. I'm going to hang up. Y'all walk that path that I was talking about. That would be pleasing to Jesus. Bye-bye.